They'll blanket you in Wi-Fi and profit off the radiation. Congregation collecting the people for that Satan. I keeps it blazing, cause I can read between the lines. I ain't blind, we unwind what they're really saying. Genetically modify what you're tasting. Don't need that cottage promise, so now you live up in your mom's basement. Redesign time so your mind is always wasted. Programmed to crave the basics. Keep the beta in stasis. Pay the state, kid. You're in debt for being born. Messengers are more than just the price for being warned. Don't be alarmed, disconnect from their machinations. Stop subscribing to the folly of own nations. Bone breaking ain't the answer, cause they seek the ownership of souls. Spread the seeds and watch them grow. Break the chains of control. Break the chains of control.
Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. Welcome to Rogue Ways this beautiful Sunday, January 10th? I'm not actually sure what day it is. It's the 9th. Okay, yeah, it's the 9th. Sometimes I'm ahead of myself and sometimes I'm behind myself. But welcome back to another episode where we're going to see all of the ways that we are currently winning in this spiritual global war. Yes, it is a war. You are fighting it whether you know it or not, and hopefully you've chosen the right side. I'm sure there's multiple sides, so to speak, but really when it comes down to it, there really is a polarity, and it's people who appreciate freedom and decentralization and the ability to choose, and people who don't, people who are too scared or stupid to know better and are just going along. And then of course there's the eagle they wish they were eagles. The evil psychopathic elite that is pulling all the strings and bringing people along with them. Of course, they're scrambling madly lately to cover so many tracks, and it's so interesting just how far we're winning right now, despite some of the things that may seem like losses. This is how it always goes in a war, and especially in this type of war where everything is non-linear and non-traditional warfare. And so we see so many things that are all about perception and illusion, and that's how it's been, right? And that's what we've been fighting against, is the delusions that are so well crafted and well woven by the psychopaths in their seeming media control. One thing that I didn't pull up on a tab to share with you today, but I'll just add since we're talking about that, is how fucking amazing it is that Joe Rogan single-handedly outweighs every single major media outlet that exists. He has way higher ratings, and by way higher, I mean if it were a scientific measurement, it would be beyond statistical significance by a factor of many, many tens of times. He has something like an 11-point ratings, whatever that means. I don't know if that means like numbers of millions or whatever, but there's graphs you can find in the latest Q3 analysis, and he's up here past 11, and all the others, including like Fox, CNN, MSN, like all of it are down in the 3s and less. Some of them are under 1. And he's up there past 11. And of course, people are like, well, it's a different outlet. It's podcast versus. It doesn't really matter, right? How many millions of people are tuning in is all I need to know that people are no longer, and haven't been for many years, tuning into the mainstream narrative. And still they seem this powerful. It's very interesting. Of course, we've always talked about how bots and algorithms are in control of much of what we perceive these days, and that I think is really what it comes down to, right? When you log in and you look at anything, you can't actually be sure that that's what anyone else is seeing. Johnny and I have, for example, at the same exact moment, looked at the same exact comment on 2 different screens and saw that one had 60-some likes and the other had 0. That's not an accident. This is what they want you to see depending on who you are, where you are, and what they want you to understand about the world. And it is not different when you're searching on search platforms, including DuckDuckGo. Although it's better, it's still compromised. And the results you're being given. And I've talked about this for years. And if you don't know, then now's time for you to understand that when you're getting results from anything, or when you're looking at anything online, you have no idea whether that's being shown just to you or not, whether it's true or not, whether it's real or not. So even when you're saying, oh, it seems like all of these people agree, and look at all the likes, and look at all the comments, and look at all the retweets, look at all the shares, you have no idea if any of it's real. None. So if you meet people who don't know that, also, maybe let them know. Maybe find a way to show them in real time how that is true. Anyway, it's nice to see you, Logan, in the chat over on Rockfin, along with all the other people who haven't said hi yet. And if you are watching on YouTube or anywhere else, it's quite likely that very soon I will turn that stream off, because we're going to talk about so many things tonight that are censored by YouTube and other platforms. We're the thinking people, and we're talking about the real truths and the real information, and that's not allowed by these corporate interests and this corporate controlled media platforms. So unfortunately, we will have to shut down YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and anywhere else that I happen to be streaming. But if you want to watch the entirety of this for free, you can just click the link right below you and hop over to Rockfin and watch all of it, along with every episode I ever do over there on Rockfin, where nobody is censored for anything that they think or say or any real information that they share. It's a very nice place to be. I hope to see you all there. But without further ado, let's jump right in. What's up, Joey, in the chat? Nice to see you too. There's a few more minutes I could probably get away with streaming to other places besides Rockfin, so I'll just tell you I'm very excited. I have some sort of fair type, I don't know, expos or something, whatever you call them, big events where you go and have booths. I have some of those coming up, and I'm very excited. I have these new custom Oregon creations to share there, but you can also take part even if you won't be at these events that I will be presenting my creations and services at. But I love them. I won't stop sharing them. I love these. They turn out so beautifully. These are Oregon Lotus votive candle holders. Oh my God, I'm in love with them. I've made a handful so far for the people who have ordered theirs. For right now, they're just custom ordered because they keep going faster than I can make them. And I am trying to stock up for some of those events I'm doing for the things that I'm making otherwise. But if you want to order one, you can grab one here. And the fun part about the custom aspect is you get to choose which colors, which intentions, and which energies you would like in it. And then I will craft yours specifically based on that. So it'll be just yours. They're always one of a kind. And I also have been announcing that I am now making rings as well. They're Oregon rings, which is beautiful. They're still powerful, amazing, and now incorporate wood, which I love. I've always incorporated plant, often handmade paper or other plant matter, as well as the actual living bits of different plants for different energies and intentions, metals and everything. But wood itself has never been a component until now. It was requested that I create these for a beautiful couple who enjoys my Oregon creations and my work, and I'm so glad to support them in this way. And so these powerful rings are available to anyone now that I've learned how to do them. So if that's something that interests you, that's also something you can custom order and click here. And this is just the first entry on the main page of the site, but you can also find either in the shop section. Of course, I would always like for you to look into the books that I write, the spiritual guidance I offer, the testimonials of people who have received spiritual guidance, healing, and tarot readings from me, and also Brighter You, which is a 6-week course that I offer people who would like to uplift themselves and their spiritual abilities and channels, especially in service of others. But the shop has everything. All of that I just listed, including Brighter You 6-week soul course. We start this Wednesday, so if that is something that interests you, you have only a few days left to join this time. I basically do one Brighter You in between each One Day of Brightness. So the One Day of Brightness events have been going for over a year now. They're every solstice and equinox, and there was just demand to know more, learn more, dive in deeper. And so Brighter You was designed to be a deeper, more immersive, more one-on-one, instructive experience for people. And so I can offer one course in between each of those One Day of Brightnesses. So the next one will be after spring solstice, which is the next One Day of Brightness, which you can also purchase tickets to right now. And I also offer sound healing, tuning alignments, Oregon jewelry and pendants, and more. So check out the shop at rogueways.org, and you can also buy my books from the shop. I did want to point out, the cover splash screen is what we call it, the cover art for this episode for Winning Update, because we're going to look at the Winningism of the day, all the ways we're winning the spiritual war. It does actually come from a t-shirt that's available at the Rogue store, and so the tees and merch are now on a totally different site. They're not on my site anymore. It's just so much easier and cleaner this way. But if you do go to my link tree, which is linked to in every single episode in the show notes, so anyone can click on it right now, right below wherever you're listening or watching, you can see all the things. Everything I do is here. There's a lot of it. You can check it all out. But most importantly, the main site is one of the first links. And then if you just scroll down 2 or 3 more links, it's tees and merch. And if you click on that, it does take you to the tees and merch store. You can get tees, sweatshirts. You can get baseball shirts, crew neck sweatshirts. You can get kids things, onesies. You can get wall art, notebooks, mugs, pillows, totes, tapestries, and pins. And all of this is at TeePublic. And you can see all the designs here. There's the travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first. That nice little catchphrase at the end of every episode. Breathe in to expand and breathe out to brighten from my meditations. If you're in the monthly meditations group, then you know that well. It's a common meditation piece that we focus on. It's a beautiful design as well. And if you're not in the monthly meditations group, you should go grab it. It's also in the shop on rogueways.org. There's the Don't Go Deeper into the Metaverse. Bright winter, of course, we're still having a bright winter, despite that they love for us to have a dark winter. We are winning. Brighter You logo is actually its own shirt. Middle Path logo, Rogueways logo. That this is an older one. Living in Fear isn't living, but it's still a great design. It's beautiful. You can get that on a shirt if you want. And finally, that winning dragon is what I call it. Winning one. And I utilized a piece of that for tonight's art on the splash screen too. So if you're interested in that, you can go to this TeePublic store and grab it on anything you want. I just love that design. I think it's really beautiful. I have one myself. And now we will get into the stuff. And I still can do one more, I think. What's this? I can do probably a few more of these tabs before I cut it, YouTube and the other places. So I'm excited to share some of this with people, and I think we can get away with some of these. So I'm going to share this piece with everybody, and this has nothing really to do with winning. I just wanted everyone to know because it blew my mind. And this is from Nourishing Traditions. It's nourishingourchildren.org, actually. Nourishing Traditions, if you don't know, is pretty old school. Sally Fallon. If you watch the Thomas... See, if I even say those names, I might get banned. Anyways, if you watch the Thomas Cowan interviews on Rogueways here on YouTube or Rockfin, before they got pulled and banned, Thomas Cowan works with Sally Fallon and has for a long time. And Sally Fallon, of course, worked with Dr. Price, Weston Price. And Weston Price Foundation is a big proponent of eating animal fats and animal products. Even though that was a big push from the industries to get people to stop doing that. And there was this completely false assertion made that this is what caused heart disease, when actually we've seen that what is most likely causing heart disease is sugar and wheat. But they blamed it on milks and fats and animal fats and these things. And there may be a component, and especially a slice of people that does maybe go badly for them, especially if they're combining it with wheat and sugar is what really seems like what's true. But anyways, all of this push against those sorts of things has led to people really abandoning some of them, and especially the raw versions of things like milk and cheese and yogurt. And we ultra pasteurize things, right? And we put them through all of these conditionings to make them dead. You're just drinking dead pus and juices from animals, which has almost no value to you. They say it has calcium, maybe, but there's also evidence that it leaches calcium from you because it's not the right way to absorb it or something. Anyways, you look at these raw milks compared to these ultra pasteurized milks, and the raw milks have almost no bacteria, mold, fungus, or anything else growing in them after many, many days, and all of the pasteurized ones do. And I first was like, what? That's not even possible. The ultra pasteurized is dead, right? But then without even reading it, and then I read it and understood that I was right, but without even reading it, I started to get it. Like, oh yeah, when you've killed all of the good stuff, just like when you take antibiotics yourself, when you kill all of the good and the bad together, then the bad can come back really, really strong. If you left the good intact, then it keeps the bad in check. I feel like it's a really good analogy for all of us in our society and our world as well. That it's, there's a reason to keep the original, the true, the good, the natural intact, because it is exactly what keeps the negative and unnatural and inverted in check. So it's interesting. It's definitely a reason to consider drinking whole raw milks and eating whole raw cheeses and yogurts as well if you're into dairy. Thank you so much, Mooney, for the tip in the chat. I appreciate you, and I appreciate that very much. Stephen M. is here. Winningism. Yeah. Winningism is the way. We're always winning. Even when it seems like we're not. We gotta find it because they try to hide it from us. So we gotta share it with each other. And what's up, Alex in the chat, Lindsay in the chat, Gordon in the chat. Nice to see you all here, and everyone else who hasn't said hello yet. I think we can also talk about this without getting banned before I cut off YouTube and the other places. Germany has shut down 3 of its last 6 nuclear plants. I know I've mentioned this before in a couple other shows that I've been on, but I didn't know if I mentioned it on Rogue yet. So I just wanted to draw people's attention to the ongoing charade. Okay, yeah, no, I have to cancel YouTube because I'm going to talk about the things that'll get me canceled. So I love you, YouTube, but if you want to see the whole episode, click over on Rockfin. The link is right below you. It's free. Goodbye. And I love you, Facebook, but click